Raid will keep you up at night.
I know. Given the success you guys did have last year against him, did you feel like you figured something out, or was that just kind of a game that he made some mistakes, it went your way? Just in general, how did you feel about how you did last year with him?
You know, looking back at the games, definitely felt like we played better. And it comes down to scheme. It's really for us, we always look at it as a rules game because of the unique run game. The quarterback, they make you play with 11. So you don't want to get too complicated with what you're doing. You just want to make sure you're sound. And they have so much offense. So when you watch it, I mean, you're going blind. You're not going to get it all, but you're going to get a good piece of it.
A lot of teams try to scheme to maybe find that one guy on defense that they can expose. Do they do that, or because of the system that they run that they're not necessarily trying that?
No, I think they do what they do. They're going to look at our defense, package their run game, what they want to run against us. In the passing game, you can see, you know, they're getting rid of the ball fast. He's making good decisions. He's accurate, but they're also taking their shots down the field. So you really have to be able to deal with everything, but I don't think it's anything specific in terms of targeting guys.
Joe, go ahead.
Yeah.
Deion Jones, closer
Yes.
to playing. Will he play?
You know, we're taking it day by day because he's learned the system, getting comfortable with the techniques. Hopefully he plays, but we'll see.
Jadeveon and Denzel, do you expect to have them back this week?
It's the same thing day by day. So I think JD's going to be out there in the field today, but it's one of those things we have to see how they feel.
Joe, last week you said that this defense has the talent to be top 5 in the league.
Yes.
You know, given the way you guys played last year, right now you're ranked 31st.
Yeah.
What do you make of that through 6 games?
I did not know that. No. No, I did. I read it. I honestly, you just look back and, you know, in games, like you see the scores, you see the yards, but it really comes down to like 3 or 4 plays. You know, if you make a play, now you're not out there for the next 8 plays. You don't give it those scores. And I just felt like we've been inconsistent in terms of executing the scheme, in terms of fundamentals. You saw that last week. For us, from a coaching standpoint, there's things, you know, I know you guys asked the question, what are we doing more? What are we doing more? There's things we want to do, but if you're not consistent and playing well, you're really trying to pull back until you can get that. So there's a lot of things to answer your question. We just got to get better.
The perception from the outside, there's a multitude of issues.
Yeah.
You know, how difficult is it to correct any of them when they have an impact on one another? Like you want to stop the run more, that puts you in tough
Yeah.
spots in the passing game, vice versa.
Yeah,
You know.
and that's part of it. And you're referring to last week, you know, we had to be more aggressive to stop the run. I mean, they have a huge offensive line. And I think outside of the third down play, probably 60, 70 yards, which was a big improvement for us. But when you do that, you're in more one-on-one situations. But I have confidence in our secondary. You know, that's my background. I don't have problems matching them up. They hit us made some good throws, caught us in some good coverages. But I believe we can make those plays. But it's a balance of both.
Joe, to do your job, you know, Bill Belichick saying that
Yeah.
he's used for years and years at New England. It's been a theme the last couple of weeks talking to your guys,
Yeah.
on, you know, the guys on your side of the ball. Considering the group is not new, they've been together for a little bit here. Is it a little surprising to you that there's not more organic knowing what the other guy's supposed to do or trusting that that guy is going to do it? There's not more of that on your side of the ball right now, that you're having to talk through a lot of these situations and over communicate and do all these extra things that you would think that at this point you'd be down the line and not
Yes.
able to do.
Yes. You know, I thought there'd be more continuity. Thought there'd be more things we could do at this point. Not that more means better. But we do have some young guys in there playing for us, you know, at all 3 levels of the defense, and they're learning too. But I felt like we'd be further along, obviously. And like I said, there's a lot of things we're trying to clean up. We just have to clean them up in a hurry.
Joe, off of that, John Johnson spoke this week about guys maybe not taking things home with them. And then we hear you're not able to do everything that you want to do. Is that the reason why? doing extra stuff?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's really in general. Is when you're playing well, then you feel more comfortable because there's things you do and you say, okay, we did that, had success. Let's add a little twist to it, and you just keep building it and you get your library. But when you're having the issues we have, you got to say, hold on a second. Let's get things fixed first, and then let's get to some things that we feel we're having success with. But in terms of what John said, and somebody just told me, but that's just players learn how to be a professional. And when you have young guys, it's just not what you do in the building. It's like what you do when you go home. So I'm sure that's what he was referring to.
Not to use that as an excuse, but is it there not enough veteran guys on that defense to kind of show them the way?
Yeah, no, it's never an excuse. And I don't ever want to come across like I'm making excuses, and I hope I don't do that. It's just everybody has to learn how to do it their own way, whatever that is, whether it's learning from a veteran, whether it's learning from some other guy in the league. It's just what do you do day to day? And we try to help them. That's one of the first things I do in the off season. I have a weekly schedule that I should always give to my guys in terms of what to look at every day, but it's something they'll learn along the way.
Explain then the fact that you're not as far along as you thought you would be, and there's not as much continuity as you thought there would be at this point.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain. We had a really good off season. We had really good training camp. This were our walkthroughs. This did a lot more. To me, it was the best we ever did since I've been here. But it didn't translate into the regular season. And to me, when that happens, then you got to look at what you're asking them to do and pull things back until you get things corrected. And then once you get them corrected, then you start adding on things that you feel will help you versus a particular team. But it was a little surprising to me, the issues we're having.
Obviously, there's been a bunch of guys that have given up plays this year. Delpit gave up another big play that really hurt you guys. Where are you at with him at this point?
Yeah, this trying to get him better. He's a really good football player. You guys seen him make plays. You see his ability. He's smart. I think he sees the field well. But you got to make a tackle, And for him, if he had that same opportunity 10 times, he'd probably make it. And then, in the third one, you just got to stay on your feet, keep your eyes on your coverage. And he learned from it. But it's those things in the game, those little situations where you just have to be good. And it's something like that, like every game where we're having issues. So we're going to continue to try to fix them, show the players, and just get better.
At what point do you start making changes? If it's just every week, it's the same thing, 3 or 4 plays that kill you guys.
Yeah, if it's something that's consistent, where he's really hurting us, and I'm talking about Grant, just any player in particular, that's when you have to address it. If you have a player that you feel like's playing better.
Are you guys getting close to that point?
I wouldn't say that right now. Again, you see the good things that he does on the field, and that's what anybody that's made mistakes. You see the good things, you just really try to correct them. And those things are fundamentals. It's like, you fall down. Why did you fall down? Look at your hand placement. Look at your eyes. So it's those little things we fix, and those plays don't happen.
Joe, as you guys have struggled the last few weeks,
Yeah.
do you like the energy and focus you're seeing when you come back to work on Wednesday with the guys? And also, have you changed anything about the early week process?
Yeah, Coach Stefanski talks to us every week, and I talk to him about you get what you emphasize. So for us, it's about emphasizing the details of how we meet, our walkthroughs. Like I talk about making our walkthroughs game-like, just to get the reps of each coverage we're playing. And then in practice, just the tempo, getting on and off the field, the communication, using crowd noise when we need to. But we look at every part of that and just try to address it and get it better. But again, there's a lot of issues, so there's a lot of things to address. We're just trying to chip away at it.
Like you make that tackling thing last week, did you do anything like that this week?
We always tackle, and that's what's surprising. Like, it was to a point when I saw coaches doing tackling, I was like, just make sure you're getting some of your other techniques in, prior to all this stuff happening. But we do a lot of tackling drills, trying to get guys in position in space, but also, the DB coaches, they have the crash pad. They're the runners. So the DBs are tackling those guys onto the pads. So we're doing it, but it just has to translate. You have to have confidence. And to me, it's always what position are you in? Every tackle is not the same. I can't go try to knock a guy out. Sometimes I have to be in position and get them on the ground. So it's those type of things that I talked to him about last week, and that the coaches are addressing.
Is it to try to put all your attention on stopping the Ravens' run game when Lamar can extend plays forever, which creates pressure for your back end?
Yeah, no, for us, it's always we try to stop the run and make teams one-dimensional, regardless of who you play. And it was the same thing last week. They made some plays, but you have to be concerned because the difference with their run game is they make you play with 11 because the quarterback runs it. So you have to focus on doing that. And there's going to be times where you're going to have to win one-on-ones, but that's every week.
So when JOK was drafted, it was kind of with Baltimore Ravens in mind.
Yeah.
So Patriots weren't his cup of tea, the way they ran the ball, right? That explains his play time last week.
There were just some things we were trying to do, getting bigger bodies on there. Yeah.
How did he grade out in those two Ravens games? He probably had the biggest tackle of the division race.
Yeah, no, he played well. And I don't know his exact grade, but this right now, just remember him making plays and obviously looking back at the tape this week. That's what you want. You want a guy that has that ability to go tackle the skill players they have, especially Lamar. And that's why he's going to be a big part of what we're doing this week.
JOK was a big playmaker for you guys last year. How do you played fewer than 50% of the snaps against the Patriots?
Yeah.
How do you balance getting big bodies out there to stop the run versus playing, presumably one of your best guys?
Yeah, and he can do it. He's smaller, but he uses his quickness and explosiveness to take on blocks or beat blocks. So we have different packages. So we know when we'll have him off the field and we'll have him on the field, but we need him out there to help us beat these guys as much as possible.
So, with Jeremiah, has he gotten, too small? Would you like him to be bigger compared to last year, looking at his body compared to last year?
Yeah, you always do. And that's something he's very conscious of. And, he has a nutritionist. He meets with our nutritionist. I see him. He comes in there. He has 3 shakes, one's on the ground. So he's doing those things to try to keep his weight up. But I think in time, he'll reach his maturity.
I wanted to ask you about Martin, too. He's getting targeted way more than he did his last couple of years of college, especially. Some of the catches he's giving up are so contested. Just how would you assess how he's done with more responsibility?
Yeah, welcome to the NFL. They're coming after you. But he's so tough-minded, that he wants it. And, he asked to cover the receiver from the Chargers in that critical situation. And that's what you love about him. But I think the more experiences he has, the better he'll play, just learning how to play his technique, especially in critical situations. But I'm happy where he's at, and I know he's going to continue to get better.
As a coach, your job is...
Tackles are playing. And are they underperforming based on preseason expectations? Are they at the expectation that you had?
Yeah, I think for us defensively, we're underperforming. From a player standpoint, from a coach's standpoint, we have to perform better. Just not happy with the results, whether it's run game or pass game. So collectively, as a group of players and coaches, we all have to get better.
What about the defensive tackles?
It's the same. You see at times we're playing well, and there's times where whether it's gap control, getting bumped out of your gap. But again, that's consistent across the board, and just I'm happy with the guys. We just all have to play better and more consistent.
DeAnthony Bell is listed as kind of back up to the deep safety.
Yeah.
Didn't he play both in training camp or no?
Yeah, we cross-trained him. Yeah, so he has the ability to play either safety position or play the dime. Yeah, well, I think the other guys have the experience, and Ronnie Harrison plays that role, and he had a big game last year against Baltimore, the first game. So he's getting better, but right now we just have some guys with more experience in front of him.
Your job is not only to design what you want your defense to do, but to teach these guys and how to learn it and perform on the field.
Yeah.
Have you found yourself having to find different ways to teach different guys different things, and what has the challenge been in that regard?
No, that's always the case. Everybody learns different. You know what I mean? So whether it's guys learn visually through walkthroughs, handouts, whatever it may be, everybody learns differently. So you learn that along the way. And I feel like our position coaches do a great job. But for us, it's just, what are the issues? How can we fix them? How do we handle it in the meeting room? How do we handle it with our presentations? how do we handle it on the practice field, post-practice meetings. So there's a lot of things that are involved in it, and we adjust things as we feel needed. But every guy is different.
How do you coach it, and what are the challenges when a guy like a tight end like Mark Andrews is the obvious #1 target for Lamar?
That's why it's tough, right? Let's say that you go and try to double him, now you're short a gap in the run game, and now Lamar's going for 150. So it has to be balanced. You know what I mean? So for us, it's just having enough calls where there's balance in terms of defending the run, and at times having the ability to take away the tight end.
And then you mentioned the third down run that the Patriots had, that touchdown run.
Yeah.
Did they just catch you in like the right call, or like what happened?
Great play call by them. 3rd and 10. What's everybody thinking? 3rd and 10, right? And they ran the ball. So it was a great play call by them. We still had the ability to make it. We had some guys that are just a little bit out of position, but nice job.